Thoracic mobility. Your thoracic spine, as we all know, is anything with a rib attached to it. So our spine has three segments. You've got your cervical, not cervical because that sounds like lady parts, thoracic and lumbar. They all have different amounts of vertebrae. Your thoracic is your rib cage, your thorax. And like the other video, due to our modern kyphotic posture, we want to not do that as much. So I'm using foam roller. You can use some cushions, you can use a Swiss ball, you can use something or other. Keeping the hips low, and all we're doing is going to drop your shoulders over the roller like that. Come back to neutral and drop over. So we're not crunching, we're not doing an ab crunch like that. We're just coming back up to neutral and dropping over. High reps too. I want at least sets of 15 with this. And you can do this, you're better off mobilizing before you stabilize. So you can do some mobility work, then do the shoulder big three, and then do the spine big three, and maybe even the hip big three. Just as a bit of a pre-work warm-up. All right, so there's some extension. So if you think of what the spine is doing, it's just sort of opening up that way instead of coming forward. There's kyphosis and there's lordosis. And then we're going to do some mobility, some rotations as well. So in our warm-ups, we quite often do that one. That's really good because you've got one hip in flexion, one hip in extension. So there is a little bit of load through your hips. Alternatively, you can do a side lie. There's a whole bunch of them, but side line, knees above your hips, support your head if you've got bigger shoulders, and rotating like that. So that's with two knees flexed. Breath plays a big part. Breathe in here, breathe out as you go around. Breathe in, breathe out as you go around. You can make that a little bit harder by extending one hip, so similar to the other one I just did. One hip in flexion, one hip in extension. Breath stay the same. Eyes watch past your head. See how my knee is lifting though, because it's no longer on that knee. On the other one. So there and then there. So my lumbar has to try and stay down, which is difficult. You can also do a quadruped. So from our bird dog position, from the spine big three, now we bring one hand up to your temple area, drop one elbow to your forearm, breathing out as you go around. So more restriction on this one, you're loading shoulders a bit more. And of course, whatever you do on one side, you do on the other. High reps, multiple sets. So really good idea if you're going to sit down at home when you're working at home, have a breakfast, if you can go for a walk or something, great. Do a bit of 10-minute mobility. If you've got time, do Kim's yoga session, and then do a little bit of stability work, and then sit down so your body's not just getting up, sitting down for breakfast, and then sitting down for another 4, 5, 6 hours at the computer at home. Externally rotate the shoulders, sit up nice and tall, move around as much as possible.